Tony Khan has compared WWE to Harvey Weinstein. There was a huge heel turn on SmackDown last night, and CM Punk gave a big injury update after SmackDown went off the air. Stay tuned for all the news. Now, Tony Khan has had quite a busy week. Of course, we saw him get hit with the Tony Khan driver on Dynamite in an angle that has been widely, I would say, acclaimed. It was a very good angle, I would say.
I mean, coming into it with all of the footage and everything and the rest of the wider situation around it, I don't think anybody saw that there was a route that you could move forward that wasn't just going to be, oh, God, why? But they've managed to do it.
They managed to do it. They managed to do it, and he's been getting a lot of mainstream attention because of it, of course. It was the NFL draft this week. Yeah. Tony Khan was on a lot of coverage for that because, of course, his association with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Speaking on the NFL Network about the draft, Tony Khan sort of opened up about AEW, WWE, and the sort of differences between the two promotions. He said, "We've been doing this for 5 years. We're the most successful sports startup since the AFL pre-merger. This is not a challenger brand that has gained as much. There's not a challenger brand that has gained as much market share as AEW in as many years. We are like the Pepsi of pro wrestling, and we're up against a really evil juggernaut. WWE is our competitor. That's who we're facing. AEW is like the Pepsi of pro wrestling. WWE is like the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. And I'm really proud of what we do." It is a very loaded statement from Tony Khan there. I can understand what he was maybe going for. I think he was trying to go for...
He was going for headlines.
He was going for headlines.
That's it.
He's trying to make a splash.
A sweeping statement like that without knowing that it's going to generate headlines and be controversial. And, you know, yeah, he can... I guess, you know, yes, the Vince situation, of course. There are parallels, and there's a lot of things going on in terms of the accusations we've seen, like against Vince at the minute. But it just, woo.
Yeah, I think that's the reaction, right? It's the generalization of the whole company as the Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling. Obviously, I feel like, yes, he's trying to grab those attentions. He's maybe trying to trying to be funny maybe, but not landing it, and it just not really working.
Plus he can go on Dynamite next week and be like, oh, I was concussed still from the melt, and you know, he's but it doesn't make it's still a very, very very loaded statement. Yeah. And a weird one to make about the company as a whole.
That's the thing, is the generalization of the company as a whole.
I get it, right? It's a company that has a very, very dark history. So I understand. But it just felt like a very weird thing to be like, we're the Pepsi, they're Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, you would expect them to say the Coke, like the Coca-Cola. You know, it was a strange... I mean, it's definitely grabbed the attention. It's grabbed the headlines. He was on some mainstream networks getting all this coverage out, and they're talking about AEW, and that's kind of what he wants. He's got both AEW in the headlines, and he's brought the Vince McMahon allegations into it without directly pointing at Vince McMahon.
Yeah, it's still just... I just... Yes, I had to like triple take at it when I saw it. I was like, what? There's a clip?
It was crazy, but that was what Tony Khan was saying on the NFL Network. But now taking our focus over to SmackDown on last night, we saw Carlito do a shocking heel turn / not that shocking. I think a lot of us have been calling it for a while, right? We were expecting something at maybe WrestleMania, because the night before WrestleMania, Dragon Lee got attacked. And it was like, who's done it? It's Carlito.
And who's going to replace Dragon Lee in the match? Surely it's going to be Carl.
No, it's Andrade. Well, that was all in the run-up. People were expecting a Carlito heel turn maybe at WrestleMania. It didn't happen then. But on last night, we saw Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio team to face Humberto and Angel of the Legado del Fantasma faction, and they beat them. Now, following the match, Santos Escobar came out to the ring and was like, we've been working tirelessly to get this footage so that we can prove that it wasn't us that attacked your mate Dragon Lee.
I'm many things, but I'm not a liar.
Exactly. Which, he's spitting facts there. Yeah. He's not lying. He didn't attack Dragon Lee. It was then revealed through security footage that Carlito was the one that attacked Dragon Lee.
And I love, because Carlito comes in, obviously shoves him. It's a standard backstage beatdown. He shoves him over. He throws him into a garage door. He throws him into a pillar, and then he leaves. And it's like, oh, that could have been any guy in a Carlito wig. It doesn't matter, guys. It's definitely not me. It can't possibly be. And then Carlito walks back in on the footage and continues to beat down and starts screaming at him. And Carlito's like, man.
Yeah. When he starts spitting the apple and goes, "You think you're cool?" Like, it was. But then, following the airing of the footage, he did attack Rey Mysterio with a backstabber and then run through the crowd.
Well, it wasn't. He hit Dragon Lee with the backstabber.
Dragon Lee, sorry.
So he
with
shoved
backstabber.
Dragon Lee into Ray and then hit him with the backstabber.
Yeah.
It was very cartoony.
Yeah.
He was just kind of like, hit his finish and just ran.
And then ran. So
Cut
now
to the wide, you just see him go.
we're getting a new edge to Carlito. I think something that people were criticizing was he came back with a great moment in Puerto Rico at Backlash last year and just not done much.
It's been nice to see Carlito back, and it's been amazing having Carlito back in a way where it's like, finally, because people wanted him back for ages, and it's been a bit of a celebration, and he's been a good guy, and it's all been very nice, but people want Carlito to be bad because Carlito is a bad guy, right?
People want him to see him spitting in the face of people who don't want to be cool, and that's what we want from Carlito.
In the post-lockdown age, getting spit everywhere. Oh, he's so much more of a heel now.
Yeah, we want all of that. So maybe we'll get that. But so stay tuned for more SmackDown and Carlito news in the future. But going from one Mysterio to another, we've got a little bit of an update on Dominic Mysterio.
So yesterday, the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported that Dominic Mysterio would likely have to undergo Tommy John surgery for his elbow, and he'd be out of action for up to 9 months. He seemingly denied the report himself, though, taking to Twitter. I'm not calling it X.
Not calling it X.
He said no surgery for this guy, alongside the gif from Wolf of Wall Street of Jordan Belfort saying, "I'm not effing leaving."
I'm not effing leaving. So he's Dominic Mysterio has directly denied the report himself there. Maybe he's not going for surgery. Maybe he's just going to try and rehab the elbow. I think it was definitely been a freak accident, this injury. We know that from the report yesterday. But him coming straight out and going...
Might not have been. No, the report was wrong. He might have took a golf club and just gone, just for a laugh.
Just for the bands. Well, we will maybe see Dominic Mysterio back in the ring soon. I don't know how long he'll be out of action for with this injury, but
as long as he's able to be in and around the outside, I guess. Like if he can't get physical for a little while, then as long as he can just keep running his mouth.
As long as he can be a little dick.
Put him on like a no-touch list, so that anybody that harms him is going to get into major trouble or fight or whatever, and just let him go. Let him just be horrible.
Because the amount of heat that man gets is unreal. But we're going to go for another report from the Wrestling Observer newsletter just now, because we've heard an update about the recent talent cuts in WWE. Now, recently we saw the names likes of Von Wagner, Jinder Mahal, Veer, Sangha, and now Cameron Grimes will all be released from their WWE contracts. And it seemed like there was a little bit of confusion. Cameron Grimes saying that last week, WWE high executive told him his job would be safe. You know, he didn't have to worry, and that he was caught in a power struggle between Vince McMahon and Triple H, and he was a Triple H guy, so that left his push sort of nowhere to be seen. Well, the report says that the recent talent cuts in WWE this past couple of weeks were a Paul Levesque decision. These have come from Triple H. He's the one that's decided who to cut there. I'm a little bit surprised in that instance that we've seen someone like Cameron Grimes cut.
I'm surprised we've seen Cameron Grimes cut, given his back and forth with Triple H just generally in his entire run so far. It really felt like Triple H was somebody who was behind him. But at the same time, I feel like I'm not surprised at all it's Triple H making the calls. I know there are a few people who were like, "Oh, Triple H is firing." It's like, well, yeah, cool. Like he's the guy who's in charge of creative. Like he knows if there's stuff that's going to be there for everybody, right? People are coming to him with all of the storyline stuff, I imagine, and then he's the one who's working out whether people are needed or not. But ultimately, I think it's always a negative to see people leave WWE like in this manner and just sort of lose their job and be pushed out of the company. But at the same time, I feel like there was a point in time where WWE just hoarded people like dragons. And they just, like a dragon, just sat there keeping everybody under contract, even if they weren't using them, sending them out, making them do other stuff, but never using them on TV, never putting them in any level of prominence. And I think there's something to be said, especially now following Cody going on an exodus and coming back. There's something more to be said now for WWE having a bit more of that open door policy where, hey, maybe there's nothing for you right now here. Doesn't mean that's permanent. You know, hopefully we're going to see him again.
Well, that's the thing.
But it maybe gives you a chance to just go and just go have fun, go do something where you can be like a much bigger star than we can make you right now. Yeah,
it's probably a case of that. Hopefully, I would love to see Cameron Grimes back in WWE at some point. But I totally understand you do have to make these business decisions. Triple H have in
the new owners are going to want to make sure, because I mean, there's all the talk that they're not going to issue dividends and stuff. So it's like it's quite clear that they want to make as much money as possible. And I guess part of that's going to be making sure there's a very tight ship. on the amount of talent under contract.
Absolutely. Well, moving back over to SmackDown last night, following SmackDown, in fact, we heard from CM Punk, who provided an update on his injury to the Cincinnati crowd at the draft. He said, "Big things going on here in WWE. The draft was today. The draft continues Monday. I felt compelled to come out here and speak to my friends in Cincinnati. I have missed you. Take a moment to look around this place. Y'all packed this house. We couldn't do this without each and every single one of you. So on behalf of everybody backstage, in front and behind the camera, we humbly thank you very, very much. I want to give a little update. My tricep is not 100% yet, but I am on track, and I promise soon I will be back and I will be competing with all the big, tough badasses backstage." I wonder if he's going to get any backstage. Is that a hint that we're going to get some backstage fights?
Big tough badasses.
Yeah, big tough badasses. Big bad booty daddy.
Who's he going to lock up with? Big bad booty daddy?
Yeah, Scott Steiner.
Is he going to do it?
When do we think Punk's coming back for a match? When is he going to be fit and ready for this match?
I don't know. I think obviously he's going to have to be a major part of SummerSlam.
Yeah,
because he's going to be back by then, you'd imagine. But like, I don't just want him to come back and just pop up on TV. But at the same time, I don't know what to expect anymore.
I'm thinking Clash at the Castle.
Clash at the
Castle. CM Punk versus someone to become the #1 contender for the World Heavyweight Championship. And as the night goes off the air, Drew walks out through the Glasgow crowd, blows a kiss to CM Punk, and leaves with the world title.
That's if he wins it.
He's going to win it. He's not. Oh, he's winning it in Glasgow.
Not.
But I want to see CM Punk.
Could you imagine?
Oh, CM Punk in Glasgow. Come on, bring him back and have Drew and Punk have a little tiffle.
It makes sense. Continue on the storyline they've got going on. It's been too good so far to let it. You don't want
to let it go at all. Definitely not. But we will be back later on with more wrestling news as usual. Stay tuned to the social medias and cultaholic.com for all the wrestling news throughout the day, and we will see you later on.